Hi again. I'm just going to do a bit of a drawing here in Tiltbrush on the Quest. I've got a bit of a canvas going there. I'm just going to pick the splatter brush and just basically uh, create some sort of background, colour background. I can start drawing on pick any colour you want. I just decide to use the splatter brush. It's kind of random, and I just cover it in all sorts of colours. You can make it smaller, larger, whatever size you want. It's kind of like you just go at it really. You don't, there's no rhythm or rhyme to it. I've got nothing in mind really. I'm just going to start drawing, and then kind of whatever takes me fancy, I'm going to try and turn it into something as I go along. So I'm just deciding on what colours go best with each other here, or well, to me anyway. You might think, oh, don't go, but never mind. I'm going to do the back as well. I'm going to tilt it round. I'll turn it round and do the back in a kind of lighter colour, as you can see there, and that will kind of show through the gaps, and it just gives a different effect. I think I use the velvet brush there. It's a bit brighter. It shines right through. You can see it shine through the gaps. Now I've just put the pin in there so it doesn't move, but as you can see, I left it quite thick, and the gap between the back and the front, which was a bit of a mistake really, because when I start drawing on it, when I come out of it and come back in, the actual drawings sink down to the back. So when I'd finished it, I'd had to select everything and put everything back in the correct order again. So if you're going to do something like this, remember to try and make the guide as thin as possible, unless you want the gap there. And then I'm just banging out my nose here. You can use the same colour if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake and you quite like half of it, but not the rest of the line you've done, you can just go over it with the background colour. You know what I mean? And kind of guide it into the shape you want. I've done that quite a lot on here, because when you're drawing it, it's massive. You've got this huge drawing. It's like drawing on the side of a building in front of you. So you have to keep stepping back, and then to see whether your lines look okay. And if you like half the line, you have to delete the whole line, and then it takes a few tries to get it right again. So I realised you can just select the background colour and you can rub half the line out. Well, you don't really, just colour half the line in. You can go over it, you see, and then create the second part of the line. So it's pretty good for that. I'm just doing just blacking out an eye here. You probably guess who it is from that eye. You can get right in close there, because sharpen the corners up, which is pretty good really. And then you zoom out, see what it looks like. You can see there, like I'm zoomed out on elephant size there, believe it or not. And zoom out again, and I'm coming up to dinosaur size. So you can imagine it's quite a big thing there. I'm just putting in the jawline. I'm not actually quite liking that background. I might change it. Let's get that air in. Yeah, I might change that background. Put a line in so I know what direction the lips are going to go in. And do the bottom lip. I actually changed the lips a few times. I wasn't happy with the colour of them. I couldn't get the colour quite right, so I mixed them, matched them until I found something that I thought may be okay. I don't know whether you can guess who that is yet. Let's get it so that it's a bit of a smiley line. Yeah, that's alright, yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, I might have to get rid of that background. I don't think it goes with what I'm going to do. You might be able to guess now. I started doing a bit of the hair here. I just used the tapered brush and the pinched tapered, and I just started whipping it in. I just kind of went at it, made lots of mistakes, rubbed them out or deleted them, and redone it till I got it right. I'm using the purple. You've got an option on your controller, on your virtual controller. You've got like a bit of a palette, and you can add colours to it, and you can keep using the same colours, which is pretty useful. Or what I do, I put the colours out in front of me. I just paint them in mid-air, and it's a bit quicker, and you can have more colours instead of having. I think it allows you to have 7 on the controller pad, virtual controller pad, whereas you can have as many as you want, just in mid-air in front of you, and you can keep just going and selecting them. So that's quite useful. It's a bit of a, and it's faster as well. You don't have to keep going down to your controller and toggling it. You'll see a load of colours in front of the face in a bit, and I use that as my palette. I'm adding some greys in there. I'm trying to get, you know, so it kind of looks a bit 3D-ish, that hairstyle. You might, yep, get these lips in here. I don't know whether I might have left the other pair of lips in. I've done a pair of lips and I weren't quite happy with the colours. I just couldn't get the colours right. So I selected them and I wouldn't delete them, I put them to the side because they were a nice shape. And I thought, I might not be able to get that shape again. So I put them to the side in case I weren't able to replicate them. There you go. I think a lot of you might be able to guess who that's going to be. It's quite big. It's about the size of I did it as big as I could. I did it as big as I could get that square. Just put the whites of the eyes in there. I'll tell you what, it was hard to try and get her eye colour right because it's good and it's bad. It's different brushes give you can use one colour, but every time you choose a different brush, it gives you a different variation of that colour. So it can be quite it's quite hit and miss really. And if you go over, and some brushes, if you go over a mark made by another brush, it changes the colour underneath. So it's a kind of bit of a trial and error with the eyes. They are the original lips that I've done there, that you can see there. They're kind of like a bit of a Mick Jagger kind of look from one of his albums. So I do change those lips. I quite like the shape of them, but I just don't think it fits in with her face. Looks like she's pouting. Yeah, I got rid of the background. I wasn't happy with that background, so I thought I'd do something more kind of in keeping with her, I suppose. Quite like that red. It's alright, that looks good, that. It looks good in the headset anyway. Everything looks better in the headset, by the way. The colours are much better in the headset than they are in the video. I do that. It's a good thing that, because of I kind of drawn on that huge square. You can go at the back of the square. You can change the background quite easy. You don't have to like painstakingly go, you know, colour the face, and you can just do it quickly like that until you get something that, you know, you think's right or it looks right. And I think that's a better shade, that, for a face. Yeah, I might go a bit darker with that, but yeah, it's generally that. Now all I have to do now is colour rough in or block in around the back of her face. On the back of on the back of the guide. When I turn around, it's there. I'll get a neckline in there. Do a neckline. You can see my palette in the front of her face there. I just leave it mid-air, and when I want those colours, I just click on them and select them, and I can get them quite easy. You can see there I've used various shades of purple, blacks and greys in her hair there. It's pretty good to do. It's quite easy to do that. Got to do this pretty carefully around the hairline, and then where I make little bits of mistakes, where I've not quite gone close enough or I've gone too far, I can go around the back of the guide and I can fill it in, I can patch it all in, which is quite useful to know. So there's a neckline filled in, and then I'll give her a jersey, a jacket, or a dress, whatever you want to call it. I'll get all that filled in, and then I think I'll change her lips. I'll give her some lips that I think are a bit more appropriate for her, because those lips, they just look like they belong on a Mick Jagger album. I couldn't quite get them right. It's hard to get a shade because you're messing around with blocks of colour, you know, rather than shades of colour. Use again pinch tape it here. It flows off nicely, that line, and we get filled in. I tell you what is a good brush for the eyes. I was messing about with eyes and thought I just couldn't quite get the gleam in her eye. It's the diamond blur. It's the diamond brush. It's quite good. Now I'm working on the lips here. I've gone a bit lighter. I've gone a bit more pinker. It's a bit more girl-like in it. Get those filled in. Just block him in. Yeah, that looks better. That looks more like it looks a bit better. That, I think. But I did actually quite like those other lips. I've done a bit of shading around and under the eyes. I've just used a bit of a darker shade of a face. I put a bit of a glint in her eye there with the diamond brush. You'll see me use it there. It just gives that a bit of a sparkle, and if you notice, the kind of eyes are different browns, and that's achieved by just going over the diamond brush. And this is the new background that I decided to give her, and it's just I think it's the mist brush. It's pretty decent brush that. I just went at it. Any old colours, and I just got this big square guide, big as I can, and put it on, and voila, there we have Amy Winehouse. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and bye for now.